before Mercury moves into their home sign of Gemini on May 3rd, they're going to square off with Jupiter at the tail end of Taurus, and with Jupiter in Aquarius, obviously. So this is kind of like a larger than life energy before they move into Gemini. So we're going to notice a distinctive shift here on May 3rd. And the way I would interpret this is there's something to do with being very opinionated, something to do with being very fixed in the way that you would look at a situation or take opinion on an issue. There may be a quality of overdoing here, maybe saying too much or biting off more than you can chew as far as taking something on, taking on a project, or saying too much, whatever it might be. There's a quality of overdoing here with Mercury in a square to Jupiter. And I really think the idea of being very opinionated and taking a lead foot stance on an issue and then being shown, hey, what about this information when Mercury moves into Gemini? Gemini is all about multiplicity. Mercury performs very well in Gemini. It's at home in Gemini because Mercury is the juggler. Mercury is the magician, and being able to take on like multiple perspectives around one thing. That's why Gemini can be a little mischievous and very witty and not always take itself very seriously. And it's because you can see multiple truths in one and never get married to any of them. Being able to entertain and hold space for multiple perspectives and say, yes, all of these things can be true and none of them can be true. Joke's on you. So there's something about being very steadfast towards a certain angle that you might have on something, and then being invited to look at it from another way. Once again, we have the North Node in Gemini. We have the eclipses on the horizon that are going to be happening in Gemini. And this is all about letting go of rigid beliefs and being able to open up to multiple possibilities for what is true. Being able to be less detached to well, it's this or it's that. And I think this has a lot to do with cancel culture, being able to say yes and say, yeah, that person did a terrible thing. That was an awful mistake, but don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, in my opinion, from my astrologer's perspective over here. The North Node is in Gemini, inviting us to open our mind, inviting us to look at a situation from multiple perspectives, and being able to not be so rigid in thinking that your way is the only way to view something. So that's the beauty of Mercury in Gemini. And Mercury is actually going to have an extended stay in Gemini because there will be a retrograde, which I'll tell you about another time. But Mercury is going to be in Gemini through July 11th. So this is going to be a long time. So Mercury is actually going to start slowing down here. And Mercury and Gemini in general, it's a time to get curious. It's a time to learn something new. It's a time to learn a bunch of different things, read a bunch of different books, bounce around your neighborhood, get on a bike, go for walks, get curious and see what else is out there for you. It's not really the best time to be particularly studious and invested in one thing. If you have the option to juggle between 5 different books and pick one up and not finish that one, and just using that as an example, it's a time to invest in your creative stimulus, to be able to allow yourself to be curious and not take things too seriously. So yeah, Mercury in Gemini, that's going to be fun. Mercury's of course at home in Gemini. So yeah, being able to learn a lot of different new things. So yeah, that's your Mercury in Gemini shot of the day. And I know I'll have more information to share with you about this transit because once again, we got that retrograde coming up. So yeah, I hope this one is good to you, and be sure to keep an open mind on this one. And I will talk to you next time. Thank you so much for joining me today. For more astrology in your world, you can book your reading with me at katherineurban.com or follow me at AstroKatherine on Instagram and Twitter, and check out my Patreon, also at AstroKatherine.